All right, so I just wanted to touch on the situation with Alberto Del Rio and WWE a little bit. Now, he left the company like a few months ago. I made one initial video on it, and then I didn't really touch it too much after that. I don't even think I made another video on the subject. And there's more coming out now, and I just wanted to address it. And I wanted to say, Del Rio is a lot more professional. It seems like than a guy like CM Punk. Because at least Del Rio's outspoken after he left the company. He's speaking his mind. He's being very professional about it. He's not even bashing WWE that much from what I've seen. He's like, yeah, he states there's racism inside of WWE, which, I wouldn't doubt. You don't know for sure though. But look at all the guys who are like the top guys. You don't see any black guys up there, do you? You don't see any Mexicans really on top of the company. And a lot of these Mexican guys are actually talented, but yet they don't get fucking pushed. So I don't know, I'm not saying he's racist, but I wouldn't doubt when Del Rio says there is racism in WWE. But he says some guy made a racial slur at him and then he hit the guy. Is that true? I don't know. Like when WWE gets rid of a person, they tend to not give an explanation on it. Like Del Rio leaves, they don't really give a good explanation of what happened. Like if something like that happens, they should probably launch an investigation into what actually happened. As opposed to just firing him on the spot. Because if somebody says a racial slur to somebody and you hit him, yeah, it's a criminal act to hit the guy, but technically saying a racial slur is not a criminal act because it is the First Amendment. But coming from a business standpoint, I mean, I would not fire Del Rio. I would fire the guy. And I would probably, talk to Del Rio about it, say, hey, I know he disrespected you. I don't know if this happened or not, but if it did, this is what I would do. I would say, I know you, were mad at it, and I know he disrespected you, and I fired him. We fired this guy after we came to the conclusion he did make a racial slur. But you cannot hit other employees just because they say something mean to you. You should come to management, talk about it with us. And from him, saying this racial slur, if he did, that tells me that happens a lot. And it also tells me that guy's a big douchebag if he did that. And it tells me that there is racism in WWE because you just don't go up to somebody and say a racial slur like that if you know that, he probably knew he wasn't going to get fired for it. So I don't know, it's something that, it's just a confusing topic, because WWE again they won't say anything about it usually. Like when CM Punk leaves, they won't say anything about it. They'll just bash him for leaving. So I mean, it's a very difficult topic to talk about, but I like how Del Rio is very professional about it. He's very outspoken. It seems like, and he's professional too. He's not bashing the company. He wished them the best on their future endeavors, whatever he said. So, I mean, Del Rio, he wasn't the worst, that's for sure. I mean, they probably were holding him back, but you never know, because I figured, like, he would have more of a lucha sort of style of wrestling, high flying, with him being a Mexican, but, you didn't really see too much of a high flying sort of repertoire from Del Rio. But, it would be cool to see him back at the Royal Rumble. I would think, like, see him make a surprise return. And they sort of, cut it down a little bit with Del Rio. Like, he used to drive in cars, and then they stopped doing that. It was probably too expensive. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a confusing situation all around. And I'm not one guy to jump to conclusions for sure. Like, I need to see complete evidence that something happened, or else I don't usually take a stance on something. Like, CM Punk. Was he justified in leaving? All these people are taking sides. Oh, no, he was wrong for leaving. Oh, he was right for leaving. When we don't even know the true scenario of why he even left. The number one thing you need to know to determine an opinion for yourself. We don't know why he left yet. So how can you make a decision of if he was right or wrong to leave? So, like I said, maybe some people were bullying Punk backstage. You know, you never know what happened. So you cannot come to a conclusion yet. You cannot make an opinion if you don't know the full details of the story yet. So, I mean, it's just it's a situation that should have never happened with him getting fired. If he hit an employee because they made a racial slur, then no, that's not a fireable offense. Maybe you could punish him a little bit. Maybe, I don't even think I would fine him because I could totally understand where that's coming from Del Rio. Maybe, yeah, I mean, I said it's a little extreme to hit the guy, but I mean, that's called the real world. If somebody, insults you, I mean, you fight back. I mean, not saying hitting a guy's the right way to do it, but I mean, he was looking for it if this is what happened to that guy, So I would not fine Del Rio. I would not suspend Del Rio. I'd maybe have a little talk with him, but it's not something to get, all up in arms about. There's a lot worse things that I'm sure superstars have done in this company that could deserve firings, but hitting a guy for making a racial slur, I mean, that seems like a weak thing to fire somebody for. So, I mean, it was a shame that he was fired. I mean, again, he wasn't the worst. I mean, there was definitely people more talented than him. I don't even think he deserved to be World Heavyweight Champion. But he definitely should not have been fired over this. I thought that was very unprofessional by WWE to fire him like that right away after I'm sure they didn't even investigate it. But again, I mean, it seems like Del Rio's doing pretty good for himself. So, good for Del Rio. He's probably wrestling like he knows how to wrestle, not being held back. He's back in his homeland. The Mexican fans are happy. He wasn't really that good in WWE, so I'm happy. He's happy, I'm happy, we're all happy. So I guess it worked out in the end, but it just proves that WWE, it just shows the stupidity of WWE and Vince McMahon, and exposes them as, probably being racist, because Del Rio is not a douchebag. He doesn't seem like a bad guy or anything like that. Like, I can't think of anything he's done that I would consider him a liar, or a jerk, or a bad guy. So when he says WWE is racist, or there's racism in WWE, I trust him. He hasn't lied to me like Vince McMahon. So he's got credibility with me. He has not lied to me. He's told the truth. He hasn't lied. So I mean, I gotta take his word for it. I mean, it's not confirmed, but if I had to put money on it, I would say yeah. I mean, I would trust what he says, because he has no reason to really bash the company. I mean, I guess because they got rid of him, but I mean, I don't think you would say, oh, WWE's racist just out of the blue like that. So I believe him when he says that. I mean, there's a lot of politics in wrestling. That's pretty obvious. But, he's been very professional about the whole situation, it seems like. Seems like a pretty professional guy. And, I wish Del Rio the best of luck in his career, or whatever he's going to do. And it would be cool to see him back in WWE one day. Just Vince McMahon, if he did this, if he pulled this off, just a fucking retard. Just expose the WWE is just stupid. Like, if you're gonna fire somebody over this, well, and it seems like the guys who've been with the company for like 10 years, 20 years, they have a longer leash, a lot longer leash. They can do pretty much whatever the fuck they want. Yet, like, you can't even, it's ridiculous what the superstars can't even voice their own opinions about the company. I mean, they can't even fucking do that. I mean, when they do that, when they come out negative against a company, like, it's regarded as, like, treason to WWE. Like, oh, God forbid they bash this fucking horrible company. Like, oh my god. I could just see Vince McMahon, just fucking quivering in fear of one of those superstars bashing the company. Like, oh my god, they're actually upset with the product. It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, grow up. It's fucking, it's call it an opinion. Everybody has one. Might as well express it. And it's just ridiculous how these people can't express their opinions, because they're scared of getting reprimanded, or they're asked about a person and they're like, oh yeah, they're great, and they can't even voice their opinions because they're afraid of getting reprimanded. It's fucking retarded. by Vince McMahon, or let them speak their mind. I mean, let's not go too ridiculous. Now, they shouldn't be like bashing the company at every spot they get or every chance they get. I don't think. But just like I say on my channel, as long as they have a reasonable opinion and reasons to back up that opinion, then fine, have at it. It's called a fucking opinion. So I mean, just let them do what they want. Give them more freedom to speak their mind. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on Del Rio getting fired from the company. It should have never happened. I mean, Vince McMahon could have handled it a lot better, but I guess in the end, it's best for both sides. And I don't mind it either, because Del Rio isn't really good in WWE, and now it seems like he's going to have a pretty good career in Mexico. And so it's good for Del Rio. So there you go, people.